Staying with us, time now for Eye on Africa. I'm Georgia Calvin-Smith, and tonight we're focusing on DR Congo and the announcement of its president-elect's name. That was Felix Tshisekedi. His victory in last month's presidential polls in DRC continues to stir up trouble, though. Rival opposition leader Martin Fayulu says that he is the real victor and that the Electoral Commission's launched a coup, fixing the results in Tshisekedi's favour. The Catholic Church and diplomats also are unconvinced by the official data. Well, here, though there were celebrations on Thursday, the situation remains delicate in DR Congo, despite the announcement of the provisional results from last month's presidential elections. The Electoral Commission's named opposition candidate Felix Tshisekedi the winner, but there are signs that a rival opposition leader may have won by a landslide. Martin Fayulu has condemned the official results as being an electoral coup. And observers from the Catholic Church have said that the official results don't match their findings either. Diplomats briefed on the Church's numbers have said that Fayulu won easily. Thomas Nicolon tells us more from Kinshasa.
Before the Electoral Commission even announced the provisional results of the presidential election, opposition leader Martin Fayulu already said that he was convinced he had won this election and that he would not accept any other results. Well, he confirmed his point of view on Thursday and declared that Tshisekedi winning the election was an electoral coup. The Catholic Church also reacted to the Electoral Commission's result by saying that even though they duly noted the fact that the Electoral Commission believes that Felix Tshisekedi won, the data they compiled shows different results, shows a different winner. Now, the coalition in power also held a press conference on Thursday, and one of Shadari's spokesmen said that they're about to compare their data with the Electoral Commission's data, and they will decide whether or not to file a complaint to the Constitutional Court. There were reactions in the streets as well on Thursday in the districts of Limete in Kinshasa, where Tshisekedi is very popular. People were celebrating all day. But outside of Kinshasa, Martin Fayulu's supporters tried to protest, like in Kisangani and in the city of Kikwit. It'll be interesting to observe how Martin Fayulu's militants follow his indications in the next few days. He already said that he would hold a press conference on Friday morning.
Thomas Nicolon there for us. Now, it's been a fraught journey to this point. President Joseph Kabila's been in power for 18 years now, and the last 2 years saw him stay on past the end of his official mandate. That sparked distrust amongst many Congolese, who suspected him of manipulating the system to his advantage and encouraging delays to vote in a successor. This should be the first democratic handover of power in DR Congo's history. Martin Fayulu supporters saying that he is the one who truly represents change from Kabila's regime. He believes that Tshisekedi struck a backroom deal with Kabila's team to fix the numbers in his favour.
We categorically reject the results. These results do not reflect the truth of the ballot. This is obviously an unacceptable electoral fraud of a nature that will provoke general chaos across the country.
Now, there have been international concerns raised about the legitimacy of Tshisekedi's win. France's foreign minister has pretty bluntly said that the data that he's seen puts Fayulu as the winner, and the UK and Belgium have also expressed doubts about the official results. Now, Fayulu was backed by former Congolese Vice President Jean-Pierre Bemba, who was barred from running in the election himself. Bemba's currently in Brussels and spoke by phone to France 24 to say that he is disappointed that the Catholic Church hasn't gone further in challenging the results and openly naming Fayulu as the candidate it believes won.
The Catholic Church should have gone much further. It has all the results, it knows all the results, it has the name of the winner, it should give it. What we also demand is that all the results of each polling station be recounted. This must be done if we want a democratic process. You will see that the true results are very different to what was announced on Thursday morning.
Now, Tshisekedi, who official results say won 38% of the vote, hadn't widely been considered the leading candidate. He only took over the head of the country's most prominent opposition party early last year.
Felix Tshisekedi, president of Congo's largest opposition party, the Union for Democracy and Social Progress. He is also now, at 55 years old, the provisional president of the Democratic Republic of Congo. Born in Kinshasa in 1963, Tshisekedi lived much of his political life in the shadow of his father, the late veteran opposition leader Etienne Tshisekedi. Son Felix occupied its position of National Secretary for External Relations in 2008. A decade later, he would take over the party reins in March 2018. Yet in the run-up to the December elections, it looked like at first he wouldn't even be on the ballot. Tshisekedi joined 6 other opposition leaders to rally behind a single unity candidate, Martin Fayulu, only to pull out after his party base rejected the arrangement. Instead, he formed the winning ticket with UNC leader Vital Kamerhe and ran on the promise that if elected, he would make poverty and security his 2 main priorities and bring peace to the east of the country.
Well, for more on this, we're joined by political analyst and professor of political science, Séverine Autesserre from Barnard College, Columbia University. She's the author of The Trouble with the Congo. I asked her whether she thought that there was much speculation that Tshisekedi and Kabila's camp had struck some kind of deal, and what would be in it for the current president, Joseph Kabila, to align with Tshisekedi rather than Fayulu. Here's what she had to say.
Whether a deal was struck or not is, so far we don't have any evidence. There have been a lot of rumors. There have been a lot of indications that, yes, it's highly possible that a deal has been struck. What's really interesting is the second part of your question. What's in it for Kabila, for President Kabila? And there you have to keep in mind that he had 3 main candidates that were trying to get the presidency. He had Fayulu, who was adamantly opposed to him, who had said that he would do everything to bring down the Kabila system. Then you had Martin Shadari, who was actually the handpicked candidate and who was who would have continued what Kabila was doing. But unfortunately for President Kabila, it was impossible, given the number of votes that Shadari got, it was impossible to declare him the winner of the elections. And so that left Tshisekedi, who in the past few days has shown that he was open to compromise. Instead of saying that he would go after Kabila and that he would fight corruptions as much as possible, he said that, well, he didn't want to do a witch hunt and everything was fine. So he was basically not as bad as declaring Fayulu the winner from the perspective of President Kabila.
So the journey to get to the point where we've actually got a president-elect named has been a pretty bumpy one. And over the years, we've seen it erupt into violence. However, despite the accusations that all hasn't exactly been above board, there are, so far, on Thursday, reports of a relatively calm situation across the country. Does that surprise you? Do you think that the population is choosing stability over the credibility of the results?
It's way too early to tell. The results were announced in the middle of the night. So it has been less than 24 hours since the announcement, and everything is still very fluid. What we've seen so far is that Fayulu is saying that he will challenge the results constitutionally, legally. We're waiting to see what he's going to tell his supporter tomorrow morning during the press conference. We have already seen protests in Kikwit, in other parts of Congo. Some of them have turned violent. Thankfully, most of the process have been peaceful, but really the coming days are what really matters. Today was just a very, very short indication of what could happen.
Now, there's been a lot of international attention paid to this election. Do you think that this change in leadership will do much to change the power dynamics in the country?
I wish I could say yes, but unfortunately, no, I don't think so. What happened is that we've been focusing on elections for the past 2 years, as if holding these elections and replacing the president with another leader was going to change everything for Congo. And that's something that I heard a lot when I was talking with United Nations officials, with diplomats, with politicians, with journalists. But in fact, when you look at the reality on the ground, it's not people who are based in Kinshasa who actually control the violence in the eastern provinces. And the violence in the eastern provinces is extremely important. We're talking about the deadliest conflicts since World War II. We're talking about between 2 and 5 million people who have died because of this conflict. And this conflict is based in a large part on local issues, conflict over land, over traditional power, over villages. So it's not a new president who's going to resolve that. What we need is to have a complete change of the dynamics on the ground. And for that, we need grassroots conflict resolution. We don't need an election and a new president.
Sabrina Otis there speaking to me a little earlier on. Well, that's it for Eye on Africa for now. Thanks for joining us. Stay with us. More coming up after a short break. Take care.